So I got a request. I have a request. Or as Bill Maher would say, new rule. If you're going to call someone smearing names like socialist or communist, Nazi or fascist or traitor or whatever, you have to actually know what it means. And when asked, provide, without looking it up, provide what you think that means. Those things mean. So I recently got into an argument on Facebook with baby boomers, of course. Boomers are just everywhere on Facebook. Like, okay, so young people have Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat. Boomers are stuck on Facebook. Is there anyone still using MySpace? Anyway, so I was talking. The argument was about holding him accountable, and then this guy just randomly called me Democrat communist. And I'm like, I'm not a communist. No Democrat in office are communists. And he said, oh, the Democratic Party are totally communist, and that's how they're trying to run this country. And I said, you probably don't even know what it means. No Democrat in office is a communist. What? Do you even know what communism is? I literally asked, do you know what communism is? And he responded, oh, the Democrats are totally communists. You're just too naive to see it. I said, you still haven't explained how the Democrats are communists or what communism is. Then he responded this morning by saying, when the Democrats are taking away your rights like they did in Nazi Germany, comparing us to Nazis, you will see and wake up. Okay, Boomer, listen. Unlike you, I actually know what communism, socialism, Nazism, and fascism are. I know these things because I look them up. I don't live in the definition that my parents gave me. I did ask what my mom, I did one time ask my mother what communism was, and she described basically authoritarianism. Now, what they do in China, they control your lives. That's not true. That's not what communism is. Communism is not inherently authoritarian. It has been authoritarian history because of the shitty politicians. But communism isn't about controlling your lives. Communism is an economic model or theory about where the state controls the country's means of production. State-run economies. Communism, there is nothing in communism or Karl Marxism where it controls what you do with your lives, how many children you can have, what jobs you can have. It literally does not entail that. I need to turn down the heat. Yeah, communism is all an economic model. Spaghetti. And I know what fascism is. Fascism is a far-right. It's a ideology of far-right authoritarian dictatorship characterized by crushing oppression and crushing of opposition. Such as Hitler and Mussolini, I guess Tojo, and Trump, although he wasn't as successful in crushing opposition. And socialism, it's an economic model or theory or just, that it's a collective ownership of the means of production. Not all of it, some things are run by the state, some things are run by private enterprise. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. But, you see, unlike these baby boomers who call everyone left of center a communist, and the pink-haired Tumblr trolls who call everyone right of center or right of center opinion a Nazi, and I have been called a Nazi as well. I actually know what these things are, and that's what I'm asking people. Look, if you're gonna smear, whatever, but at least know what the fuck you're saying. Don't be saying things, it sounds like a bad word, so I'm gonna use it to smear somebody. I've never called anyone a fascist without knowing what fascism is. I've never called anyone a communist without knowing what a communist is. I've never called anyone a socialist without knowing what socialism is. Because unlike a lot of these lazy people who just like to smear people, I know what I'm talking about. And that's what I'm asking. Know your shit. don't know what it means, look, there's no shame in not knowing what something is. Just go look it up. It's not that hard. Especially with, back in the day, like if you said, hey, how are babies made? And your parents gave you that bullshit stork, you would have to actually go to the library and look it up. But nowadays, you can just like, hey, it's a stork. You go click, click, bullshit. You can just look it up. But seriously, folks, stop smearing people. I don't smear, and neither should you. Pay me the same respect. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. As in, look, if you're going to argue with me, don't sound like a teenager just throwing insults. Like back in the day when millennials used to call each other it's and gays and queers. Yeah, not the best part of my generation. Or at least I guess the 90s generation. But seriously, folks, know what you're talking about. Don't just smear. Look up what you think. I'm pulling into work. I want everyone to have a progressive and warm day. Thankfully, it's been getting warm ever since. It's like Georgia had that one snow day this year. Oh, geez, that sun. And then all of a sudden it's gotten warmer and warmer. I've actually been able to not bring a long sleeve shirt. Anyway, stay awesome, stay progressive. May the force be with you.